Email marketing experiments takes you behind the scenes of failed and successful email marketing campaigns. Simply put, what we've tried in the past that worked or didn't work. We go from idea to strategy and results with lessons in between. We keep it real and super practical. We even started asking our guests to spill their worst email marketing mistakes, and some may just shock you to the core. I'm Dr. Safaya, the host of Email Marketing Experiments and the founder of Safaya Learning Hub, an online email marketing school that helps you start, grow, and transition into email marketing so that you can get paid to offer it as a service. Let's dive into today's episode. Today I have with me Sam from Nomadic Copy. She writes high converting copy for service providers. Every business she writes for gets sales pages, launch emails, or a website that sounds just like them, but even better. And I'm talking about way better because I've happened to see some of the testimonials from her clients, from her, I think it's copy on demand, right? Copy on demand clients. And the feedback is so good. Welcome, Sam. It's so good to have you.
Hi, it's so good to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you tell us a bit about your story?
Yeah, sure. So if you can tell from my accent, I'm from the United States. I was born and raised here and eventually went to school, got degrees in marketing and international business. I went into a career in sales. Specifically, I was in finance sales and then tech sales. And always knew throughout this journey that I wanted to travel like a lot long term, not just go on holiday, but be able to live in different countries short term, long term. So in 2019, I quit my last formal sales job and started Nomad Copy Agency. And I called it Nomad Copy Agency because I wanted it to be no surprise that I could be in New York or Nigeria. It didn't matter. It could be wherever. And then I chose copywriting because I was really good at selling, and copy is just selling, but in the written form versus being on the phone with somebody. So 2019, Nomad Copy Agency was born, and I've been helping people sell online ever since.
That's so interesting. I'm curious, do you have like a count of how many places you've visited so far? It's really interesting to be able to, write copy from different locations.
Yeah. So last year, I wrote an email to my list saying, hey, if anybody wants to say that their copywriter is currently working from a beach in Montenegro, let me know. And somebody did hire me because of that. They were like, that's actually really cool that I can be in Boston and you can be in Europe and I can have you write for me. So that was my, I want to say 79th country, and I've been to 85 now. And I've worked from probably over half of them.
Wow. That's a huge number. That's amazing. So on this interesting journey, on your journey so far, do you have any milestones, something memorable that you'd like to share?
I think that was probably a cool milestone too, is like realizing that I could work from anywhere. But I mean, I think the pocket answer is to say it was really cool to be able to hit my first 6-figure year, my first multiple 6-figure. But I think the coolest milestones for me are when my clients have really big wins. Like I remember my first client that had a 7-figure launch from us working together. And it was like, oh, wow, she doubled her revenue from her last launch. She sold over $1 million in this launch. That was a really cool milestone to be a part of. And I've had, I think, 5 or 6 clients so far have 7-figure launches. So that's always cool to be a part of.
Definitely. And that is such a powerful one right there because it's not just a win for you, but also a win for your client. Now, still on memory lane, do you remember how you acquired your first client?
Yeah. So it was actually my accountant. I had talked to my accountant when I was still working full time and had kind of a side gig as a travel blogger. And she asked me to write something for her. And it was for her website. And I had no idea how to charge for a website. So I was charging her like $25 an hour for this project. And I remember being so scared to send her my invoice because it was like more money than I had ever invoiced before. It was like $950 or something. And now that's a project that I would charge 4 or 5 times that much for. But it's also a testament to you've got to start somewhere. And a lot of times you have to start within your own network. So yeah, she was my first client.
Oh, that's nice. And I love the fact you talked about starting within your
Mhm.
own network. So let's double down to your client acquisition strategy today and what it is that you're going to be telling us about.
Yeah. So client acquisition, again, I went to school for marketing. So sometimes I get into the jargon, but client acquisition for copywriters, typically the first thing that you're going to see that's copy is either an ad or an opt-in page. And that's what we would call top of funnel. So for what I'm talking about today is your opt-in page and what copy needs to go on that page so that you have really high conversion rates and get people into your top of funnel.
Okay, so let's dive right into it. Now we're talking marketing and we're talking top of funnel. So how does that work?
Yeah. So the way that an opt in page works is you get it in front of people, whether that's from sharing it online, somebody else shares your opt in page, or you run ads to it. And the opt in page is where people put in their information in exchange for getting a free thing. So typical free things that people are giving away are something like a PDF or a webinar or another common one that I see is challenges. So you'll run a free challenge to get people into your free thing so that they're in your world and you can then market to them. But at minimum, it's a place where you're going to collect a first name and an email address.
You're saying that what you want us to do is to be able to create an opt-in page so that we can first
Mhm.
offer something free to bring them into our circle, and then we can take it from
Mhm.
there. So if somebody is
Yes.
new or a newbie who just, finished learning, has developed their skill to an extent, right, and is now looking to acquire clients, how can they apply this particular strategy?
Yeah. So they would then kind of think about things backwards. They would think about what it is that they're offering that is a paid offer and what the first step is that people need to know before they hire them. That's typically a great thing to make into a freebie. And it also helps to know who your ideal audience is. So you're going to talk to, say, working moms a lot differently than you would talk to somebody who's like a total tech bro or something like that. Yeah, reason you're going to talk to them differently is because they have different problems and different desires, and they're going to achieve those desires in a different way. So, with that, first think about what it is that you're offering that's paid. And I'll use an example. Say you're a photographer and you're offering specifically, let's say, branding photography. That's your paid thing. That's what people pay you thousands of dollars for. But you need to get people to be able to market to. So you think, okay, how do I get this audience? I need to have people that I can email so they can send marketing emails. What's something I'm comfortable giving away for free? So if you're a brand photographer, you could make a guide that maybe make it on Canva or a free software. It doesn't have to be wildly fancy. It just has to show your expertise. And it could be a posing guide. So it could be, people love numbers. So maybe 10 unique poses for your next brand photography session. So then you would find those poses, create examples, make it into a really beautiful PDF that shows the quality of your work. And then inside of that, you're going to say, and if you want to work with me as your brand photographer, let's say that you're an LA based brand photographer, you would say, and to work with me in LA, click here to get on my calendar. So again, we're thinking of it backwards. Your paid offer, what are you comfortable giving away for free? And then you have to write your opt in page. So your opt in page is going to tell them what the free thing is, why they should want it, and how to get it, which is going to be a call to action button. And then you're going to have that little form where people put in their name or their email address and their first name.
Now I'm looking at it. You've given us three things that our opt-in page has to have. Is there a particular length that you have seen works really well? Or it can be as maybe as long or as short as we prefer?
Can be as long or as short as you prefer. What I always tell people, and it's such a awful, it depends answer, but it really does depend on what does your client need to hear to be able to put in their information. So I'll give you another example. We've all bought clothing or shoes online. You'll see when you're on the website for the shoes, it's there'll be the pop up and it's spin the wheel to get a discount. And you spin the wheel and it's but the only way I'm going to give you this code is if you put in your email address. That's an opt in. And that might have 20 words total on the opt-in pop-up that gets you to give the information because you're okay, well, if I'm going to save $20 on a pair of sneakers, then it's worth it to give you my email address. in the more online business service-based space, maybe there's a little bit more to it. Maybe it's a more built out page, again, that says what it is, why you should want it, how to get it. That's going to be the part that goes above the fold. And that's in the Opt-In CopyBot. It's free and it'll do it for you. You just tell it the information. But then sometimes maybe you want to add a section that says, and I'm Sam and I've been writing copy for other people for 8 years now. Give a bit of a bio, or maybe there's a section that explains how it works or something like that. It just depends on what your audience needs to know to be able to give you that information.
Okay. And now I'm just wondering, are there common mistakes that you've seen people make when it comes to, setting up the opt-in pages, which our listeners need to be wary of so that they avoid?
I would say first would be saying too much, and the second is telling them too much of what it is and not why they should want it. So the example here would be a long, droning, like multiple paragraphs about this is the thing that's included, and you also get a bonus PDF and another download, and then you'll be invited to get on my calendar, but not telling me why any of those are important. So I don't want another PDF. I want the outcome. So again, it could be the outcome is to show up to your brand photography session feeling super confident that you know how to smile and where to put your hands. That's the outcome. So I don't care if you're giving me 10 or 20 different poses. I care if I'm going to feel confident showing up to my brand photography session.
Okay. And now I'm just wondering, right? Because we have this opt-in copy and we're working backward. So does that mean we're looking at having an opt-in per service, or we're having an opt-in that can connect to multiple services?
Great question. So that would end up coming down to how you want to set up your marketing funnel. And if you just want one freebie, and then maybe once people are on your email list, you send them a survey and say, which of these sounds most like you? And they could choose which service they end up getting pitched, basically, because they would just select a button and that would trigger a different email based on what their selection was. Or you could have multiple freebies that each lead to a different service. I think it just depends on what your capacity is and how you want to set your business up.
Okay, okay. I like that. I like the way you're taking it step by step based on what it is that the person wants to achieve. Now, in terms of setting up the opt-in again, because I mean, these people want to acquire clients, right? And they have set up this opt-in, but how do they get people to see it? Or what are your recommendations in terms of, okay, so I've set up this copy, I have created this free thing to, help them achieve the first step, but how do I even get it out there so that people even know that I have this free thing available?
Yeah, there's a lot of ways. You can put it on your own social media, send it to your own email list, but that might be a little redundant because those people are already on your email. But you could send it to your email list. Social media, have other people post it or share it with their email list. Something that's really common is list swaps. So that's where people, like, for example, you and I would say, hey, I'll share this thing with my list if you share my thing with your list. So that helps with audience sharing. Same thing with, you could do that with social media. Depending on the nature of the work, Pinterest is a great way to get out there because Pinterest is a search engine. You could do SEO on page. That's more of the long game, but also mentioning it in your other offers, like inside of your blog posts and podcasts, might get people to join your list who aren't already on your list but are finding you. And then the big paid option would be to run ads to it.
Okay. I like how you said Pinterest is an option, but it's a long term game. Could you speak a
Mhm.
bit more to that?
Yeah, for sure. Because Pinterest is a search engine and it kind of comes down to one, how beautiful is what you're showing. I'm a millennial girl. I think I was like planning my wedding on Pinterest 10 years ago and I'm still not married. So like there were a lot of like beautiful things. So for me as a copywriter, it'd be hard for me to share something on Pinterest and have that gain traction. But if I had the right words behind it and the right SEO in the descriptions, that could be something that does take off for me. It would be more advantageous for people in, say, photography or design or in the wedding industry, in the floral industry. Fashion does really well on Pinterest as well. So it just depends on where are people looking for solutions.
That's really important right there. Now we've talked about, attracting these people, getting them top of funnel. So we're getting them into our system. Now, once they get into our system, what are the next steps in terms of what do we do next?
Then you email them. You welcome them. You roll out the red carpet, and first email is going to deliver that freebie. So it'll just be a button that takes them to their download. Then you introduce yourself. You could create a survey so that you start getting some client feedback right away, especially if your plan for your funnel is one freebie and then they kind of self-select them into which offer they get pitched. So buttons that help to segment your email list. This is probably something that you have resources on that people would really, really appreciate, because I know you're the email queen. But ultimately, the short answer to that is you welcome them, you give them what they asked for, you continue to help them solve their problems until you run out of free solutions and their only option is to buy something from you. But at that point, you've proven that you're so valuable and so knowledgeable that you become the obvious person to buy from.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now you've done something for us that actually just help people go ahead and, do this thing easy peasy. So
Mhm.
can you tell us about the high converting opt-in page in minutes and how that works?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Opt-In CopyBot is a GPT. You do not need the paid version of ChatGPT, but it works inside of ChatGPT. And it will ask you a couple questions about what your free thing is, and it will spit out high converting copy for you to put on your opt-in page. It'll do the first two sections because I think that typically you really only need like two sections for something that's free, but it'll explain what it is, why people should want it, and it'll tell you exactly where to put the buttons and the form. And it helps you write that copy so that you kind of fast forward the creation process and just you're able to start getting your opt-in page in front of people so you can start getting leads.
Wow. So this is just like, them getting you to write their copy, but better. You've created something that can just make that process easy peasy. That's so
Exactly.
amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah, thank you so much. Now you have this opt-in CopyBot, but you also have a welcome sequence CopyBot. So can you
Mhm.
also tell us how the welcome sequence CopyBot works as well?
Yeah, so very similar. And actually, once you fill out the opt-in CopyBot, you can take that copy and feed it to the Welcome Sequence CopyBot, and it'll write the first couple of emails for you based on the copy that's on your page. So it's so important throughout your funnel to sound the same and to like continue that same message. So it will take your opt-in copy and turn it into that very first welcome email where it's the, hey, here's your thing, download it, go get it now. And then also the second email in that sequence that typically introduces you and helps you to start building your authority, again, so that people see you as valuable and want to buy from you.
Oh, I love the idea of having copybots that do specific things because it's just like an assistant that's making your life really easy and
Mhm.
something that you can just use at any time, anywhere. Like you're not waiting for anybody. You just put the thing and get the thing. This is just a powerful tool that anybody can use. And I'm super excited that we get to experience it. Now, this has just been a very, very interesting conversation. I don't know if maybe you have any final things you want to chip in as regards the client acquisition strategy that we have talked about so far.
I know we've covered a lot of ground because I think what's important to know here is that like funnels can seem so big and like unsurmountable task, but really it comes down to like knowing what you want to lead people to, which is your paid offer. Scaling that back to say, okay, what can I do to get people in the door so that they can get that taste before they buy the whole meal, you know? And then just communicating that so clearly through your opt in page, through those couple of emails, and that it all does work together in a system. And I know that that's what you're helping people with over the 6 weeks. So this is a really good place to start. And I'm grateful that you brought me here.
Thank you. And I'm grateful to have you here. So, how can our listeners connect with you? Where can they find you?
Yeah, for sure. So obviously, I'm on Instagram, probably too much. I'm on there at nomad.copy. My website is nomadcopyagency.com. And from there, you can find my podcast where I spill all of the ideas and thoughts around copywriting on my podcast. It's called Copy and you can find that on my website too.
Yes, yes, yes. And I would go ahead and put all the links in the show notes so that you can easily connect with Sam, get access to the copybot, the opt-in and the welcome copybot, and also get to explore her podcast. And I must recommend that you listen to it, subscribe, and get to enjoy all the different marketing pieces that she has on her podcast. I mean, she had a lot of things. I think one of the episodes that I was really intrigued about was when you talked about edu selling and how to sell without being salesy. That was one
Hmm.
very interesting one because I'm like, okay, so we're already doing
Yeah.
like the education thing and all of that, right? So let's see how this comes into what it is that, I'm doing. So guys, I definitely recommend you checking out the podcast and I will also be linking it in the show notes. It has been such a joy to have you here, Sam, and to do this with you. Thank you so much for being a part of this and sharing your client acquisition strategy with us.
Yeah. Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
Each guest to ask the burning questions you had while listening to this strategy, as well as while implementing the strategy. You also get support from us in the community on your quest to getting your first or your next client. We don't leave you alone. We don't leave you hanging, but we do it together with you so you get results faster. Early bird registration ends May 14th and final registration closes May 24th as we kick off the client acquisition challenge. See you inside. To sign up, go to sapphirelearninghub.com/6 weeks CAC. The link is also in the show note. We can't wait to see you inside. All right. I'm sure you love this deep dive. So go ahead and leave us a 5-star review in the podcast app. Secondly, if you want to get paid to offer email marketing as a service, but you don't know where to start, you've started and you feel stuck, you don't have who to guide you, or you don't have where to ask questions because you are afraid of being judged, then come hang out with other email marketers in the email clinic and get access to our accountability circle, industry insiders, our A to Z email marketing course, and lots more. The link is sapphirelearninghub.com/email clinic. You can also find the link in the show notes. Ciao.